Hey up everybody, my name's Jonny Mozza and director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to go through the editing process with you for Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. Don't know why I said it like that, like I'm a news anchor or something, but let's do this anyway. So, as you can see, I've got a fair bit of the film already sort of edited together. This is days 1 through 4 and it works out to just over 20 minutes. I want to add some stuff from day 6, which goes right after this. It goes after this shot, but before that shot. Because this is stuff that goes way later in the movie. So move that all the way over there. That's the first thing you do, is you want to sort of clear some space for yourself so that we can actually begin working. And second off, I'm going to go through the general file organization that we got here. So first off, I've got what's called the movie in all caps, right? And that's this timeline. Then I have one called full timeline. Now full timeline has the movie inside it, which then takes me back to this. Or if I go back to full timeline, I have day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. And you can see day 2 was quite a long day. So this is all of the footage synced up. Everything's in the right place. There's nothing I need to do here. So if I want to try a different take, all I need to do is come into the right day, find the right take, and just copy paste it in, rather than have to re-sync all the audio myself, okay? So here's day 3. I've got various, we did a multicam setup this time, so here you can see I've got all of that sort of put together. There's actually a couple shots I need to put in here. So yeah, everything's ordered from, chronologically, so, first take of the day, first shot of the day, second shot, third shot, fourth shot, fifth shot, and then second setup. I tend to leave takes together, but in this case I didn't because each take is quite distinct. And then day 4 is a bit more simple. So you can see they kind of group together. So stuff like this, and this, that's all the same shot. But then there's a bit of a bigger gap, so you have a feeling that this is going to be a separate shot. And then there's a bit of a bigger gap, so you know there's going to be something like this, which then slowly leads you in. And like these 3, you get the sense they're probably going to be the same thing, based on the spacings, whereas these are probably also going to be more or less the same thing. So I hope that kind of makes sense in the way that I'm actually organizing these things. You want to sync everything first and then work with the fully synced audio. So let's go and make a new one called day 6. So how we're going to do that is I'm going to go into here, I'm going to go into Jonny Mozza's Lesson in Confidence, I'm going to go into this. Now, the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to drag it all in. I don't really care. So drag it all in. Once it's all dragged in, it's going to, don't check your phone in the middle of a video. That's very unprofessional. That's not the way you're meant to do these videos, you know. I don't know what accent that was. So what you do is you drag things in and you look for nest. There it is. So I'm going to call this nest day 6. I have to call it day 6. And I'm going to give it a funky color. So, yeah, go on then. Now, I don't want that to be there. I want that to be somewhere else. Oh, right. I fucked something up there. I need to make a thing called day 6, okay? Now, I want to not have day 1, day 2, day 3, or day 4 in it. I don't want the full timeline. I don't want the movie in it. And I want everything else to be in it, though. So it's best that you start from the first clip because it gets a bit weird with you otherwise. And then I want that to kind of go back down. And I just noticed that these aren't in all caps, so keep it consistent. It's nice to keep it consistent. And then I'm going to go in here. I see I have me and Oscar, so let's put that in there. So the file organization is now kind of sorted out, okay? So first off, this shot, which has Hadid in it, yeah, this doesn't matter. Neither does this. So those can just go straight away. Now, give myself a bit of time for this. I get the sense this wasn't one that we actually saw. That's not a real take. I have the sense, I think this was a practice take. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to just check. Yeah, you see if they kind of line up like that, you're probably on the right lines. You're probably along the right path. So do something like that. And I know this one is for the Hadid clip, so I don't actually need that. That's the clip. That was a video that we did. It wasn't actually part of the film in any capacity. Now I want Oscar's ones to be underneath, and I want my one to be on top, because Jonny Mozza's ones should be on top, just so that way I know because Jonny Mozza is the main character, he's in every scene and the story is told from his point of view, so I feel like it's just easier to work that way. So you can see here, I obviously left my recorder on a bit too long. Now a little trick, if you right click on this part of the timeline up here, doesn't work down here, doesn't work over here, doesn't work up here, doesn't work down here, doesn't work over here. Only on the timeline, not even up here, okay? You have to do it down here. So you want show audio time units. Now, in terms of frames per second for video, if you're filming on something like this, if you're in Europe or anywhere with PAL, you are using probably 25 FPS. If you're anywhere with, I think it's NTSC, then you're probably looking at 24 frames per second, which is technically 23.2 to 0.76, something, right? So that's 25 frames per second, okay? That means you can move things 1/25 of a second, compared to audio frame rates, which are basically, you know when you see something that says 44,100 hertz for a type of audio, or 48,000 hertz for a type of audio, that means that you've got 44,000 oofs of a second to work with. So instead of, say if I take this out, I can zoom in this far, okay? I can zoom in fairly far and I can move things a bit over here, a bit over here. But if I go in and I click show audio time units, I can go way further, and that's what I want. So right now I'm just going to drag these up so I can see a little bit more of them, and we're going to start having a little look at what we've got here. So you want to take spikes and kind of align the spikes. So this looks like it's a fairly consistent spike. Okay, you kind of want to do the spikes near the beginning though, because that means that would mean we did a clap. So if you find a clap, I don't think that's the right clap because you can see there's one here and then there's one also over here. So I think it's actually a bit more. Ooh, oh, there we are. Okay, I think I've got a good thing going here. Okay, so it's something that it kind of comes down to vibe a little bit because there's all the pre-shoot chatter and stuff, and then there's the actual clap. Then you're looking for the clap. And yes, I know I could use a clapper board, but they are effort and. No, I'm not going to start using one unless, like, someone volunteers, I suppose. Because if I'm editing anyway, it doesn't really bother me. I never got massive use out of them.
Do then, right? He does all that, and he's like, fucking opening act to my gigs, bloody dropped out. The gig's on Saturday.
Okay.
So I come up, I'm all.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you too then, right?
What have I? Oh,
Fuck you too then.
it's the snapping of the smartphone. If you look, if I zoom in. I've got a little Motorola flip phone and I'm snapping it. And that's what that noise was. Okay. So that means that the take actually begins a fair bit earlier. So it's somewhere around here. So what I do is I like to trim the beginnings and the ends off and just get a bit of action, you know.
Tell you what. How you doing, man? This day's been
So there's a little clap in there. And then it obviously gets into the scene. I'm presuming that's... Yeah, this is the end of it. Okay, I'm gonna end it around there. So as you can see, this is kind of the way that I would sync something up. Okay, so I don't think this shot here is actually anything of interest. I think that's just a practice one we did where we didn't have the audio rolling, which I really should have just rolled the audio, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah, whatever. So then you've got stuff like this where you sort of you're trying to match the timelines. So you can see because I've fucked it up. So this is why I like to sometimes do two claps, because two claps are quite noticeable in the spacings. And if you get the spacings right, then you know you're in the right thing. And then everything starts to align. You see you've got this kind of like squarish sort of one with this mini one with this big one over it. And that looks quite similar to this, but obviously it's a little bit different because the audio sources are like a few meters apart. So obviously this noise was a little bit louder to my mic than a bit louder to Oscar's mic than it was to my mic, and that's kind of part of it. So now I have done that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to find where I actually put this. So that's the next step. That's starting to look correct. If you notice, I'm trying to now sync it to the video side. So you see you've got this spike here and then you have this spike here, okay? So those spikes seem to align fairly well. So let's go in and let's see what we can do with that. So if we go in, okay, we're getting somewhere nice with this. Okay, that's looking good, that's looking good. So let's have a look. Let's just check with some audio.
All the rest of it, you left me hanging high and dry on my ass.
Yeah, okay. Some really bad improv there. Okay, so I'm going to begin it there because that seems like the beginning of the take, and I'm going to end it. So somewhere around here when I do this lie down. Okay, so that's the lie down. So bring that down there. Cool. So now we have the second take of 3 done. And let's just do the final one just so that you get an idea. So I think this one will be a bit of an easier one. So you get a big spike there. That spike doesn't quite look right. So what I'm looking at now is maybe this spike here. I'm getting the sense one of them's a bit longer than the other. That tends to mean that someone left it recording, like started recording it beforehand. I think I have a problem of recording before other people because I'm kind of anticipating the beginning of the take and stuff like that. That's maybe what the issue is here. That's my suspicion. But you see you've got this kind of tooth kind of looking one here, like upside down vampire fangs. That's quite useful because that's quite a distinctive looking shape, and I think I recognize it here. And then when you notice that, other things on either side start to align, so you start to notice that this spike, this spike here aligns with this spike here. So that's very useful. It's just looking at the patterns and recognizing things, and it can be quite bloody difficult sometimes. Like, I think we've got an easy job of it today, but that's not to say we always get an easy job of it today. I think it actually, yeah, because that way those two spikes kind of align. And yeah, then the vampire fangs are there, but they're obviously a bit quieter on Oscar's one. So whatever it is, it's probably a noise I made or something like that. Because these are lav mics. These are on the individual. I've got one on now. It's right here. So if I had someone that was sitting like way back there, right, and they had a lav mic on, and we were having a bit of a back and forth, right, and then say someone came in through the door and quite loudly shut the door, it would come through much louder on his microphone than it would on mine. So the waveform would look a little bit different. Okay. So I think this is about synced. Let's see.
Oh my god, thank you so much for telling me about the Dookie Yacht. Jesus God. No, don't worry about me, don't worry about me.
Yep, that sounds about right. Okay. I like to take the audio time units thing off when I'm doing the cuts because it can't cut video to 44,000 things a second because it's obviously 25 frames a second, so it can only do it by that amount, which means you sometimes end up with like a little bit of a sliver, like half frame of audio maybe on somewhere that ends up getting cut around. It can be a bit annoying, that. So here is the beginning of the take.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, you can hear me counting, so let's do it about here. Yep, okay, and then... Yep, that's the door closing. Okay, so somewhere around here, and I feel like I'm about to... Oh, that must be Oscar turning his one off. So I'm going to do it exactly when he turns his off, because there's nothing you really need outside of that. I'm just going to have a quick look if there's anything I can cut before this. So somewhere around here. Yeah, we don't need this much of Oscar sitting on the phone, because he's basically just looking through the phone, because I think the way I described it to him was he is anticipating having to have this conversation. He doesn't really want to have this conversation, so he's a little bit on edge. It's kind of the way I put it. So as you can see, I've got all of these things here sorted. Okay. Right, great. I also just realized I shouldn't have deleted that thing. Is this... Oh! Oh, no. What that means is I need to... Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that another day. So what I need to sort these things out is basically, but... So I've got this little close-up here of just cigarettes, and so that can be useful for cutting in between things. That's all right. And then I've got this one, which is a bit out of focus. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one, which is in focus. So those are useful. They're good to have. So this is the end of the shot, but this is the main part of the shot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set all these two by -30. And I'm going to just put the same thing on that I put on for everything. So I believe it's this. Let's see.
Need to register yourself as a self-employed. It's very easy.
This is mine. That's why it sounds like that.
I'll put it for you in your to-do application.
Hang on, I remember saying that. If I make £1,000
no, my bad.
on
It's
the
effect
self-employed
controls.
rate, I don't have to
Let's have a look.
register myself.
So it doesn't seem to have any effect on it. I know one of them has effects on it. What has effects on it? You know, if none of them have effects on it, then I'm not going to bother. I won't worry about it. So what we're going to do, we're going to just take that and we're going to pop it in here. Now that's a long scene, and I don't think we're going to necessarily use it in this exact way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the... First I'm going to add this to the end, so I'm going to take this in. Just to show you an example of the cut that I have in mind. Let's find one. Let's find where the beginning of this is. Oh, there, it's somewhere around here. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Sweet. That's kind of the good thing about doing it this way as well. Okay, so I'm gonna just put it down. So at some point I'm going to lean over. Oh, yeah, you can see I'm doing it already. So great. How does that look? Works quite well, I'm going to say. I think that works. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So that's obviously the idea. And then I need to actually put the audio, because I do have audio for it. I just realized I've forgotten to back it up. So it's still on my phone, which is, I'm doing this, I record it the same way I record the videos. I just use this. It's an audio recorder app. The app is called Easy Voice Recorder, and it's a good little app. It's nice, it works, it does its job. So yeah, that's kind of the editing process. Obviously I'm doing it a lot slower because I'm explaining things as I go. I hope you managed to get something out of this. And if you didn't, then let me know what I'm doing sort of wrong. I'm not going to start like editing these super fine or anything like that, but I can always try and enunciate my things better or make my point more clearly and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope your editing projects are going very, very smoothly. And yeah, I think you're all brilliant. So have a great rest of the day and take care, everybody. Bye-bye. It's a two-sided mirror, so I have to look at myself really close up. I think they look a little bit different. One's like a closey-uppy mirror. It makes me look really, really wide, and the other one makes me look really, really, really pointy.